Well, what a fascinating day of Test cricket on day 2 at Mohali between India and England. This is ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Hello and welcome, and let's take you through our match day match points that we're going to discuss with Nick Compton and Saurav Ganguly. It all started with Adil Rashid leading a fight back for England in that final session. 4 quick wickets, triggering a bit of a collapse and keeping the difference only at 12. One of Rashid's wickets happened to be Ajinkya Rahane, who not for the first time is looking out of sorts in this series. We're going to ask Saurav whether that's the first that he's seen in Rahane's Test career of a slight slump in form. It's been a tight test, yes, but soft dismissals from both sets of batsmen has created some questions, and that I'll ask the 2 batsmen on the panel to answer. Is it the pitch or is it just batsmen giving it all away? Moeen Ali, on the other hand, has had a quiet test match 2 in a row now with the ball. He was once England's premier spinner. Has he lost Alistair Cook's faith? And we're going to end with Alistair Cook taking a very smart review early on in the day. It saw Parthiv Patel's return to Test cricket cut short after he had started well, but there is a change in protocol that might redefine the way the DRS is looked at. All that and more over the next half hour. I'm Rona Kapoor, and it'll be with Nick Compton and Saurav Ganguly right here on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Okay, so let's not waste any further time. Nick Compton is here, as is Saurav Ganguly. Good evening, gents. Welcome. Good evening. And Nick, as I start off, we start where it all ended. You must have been very pleased to see England keep this Test match alive in that last session.
Yeah, I thought their fight back was brilliant. I think this shows what this England team's about over the last 2-3 years. Players that have come in have delivered. And that man Ben Stokes pops up again. You know, Josh Buttler, there's some serious talent in that side. And it just shows that, you know, even if players or the opposition get a partnership, you're never out of it, and I think it really opens up for a great Test match. Sort of, when we spoke at tea, we spoke of how this could just be, we needed something to happen for this Test match to go out. We didn't expect what we saw after tea. What do you attribute that little collapse to?
You know, that's part and parcel of Test cricket. And England is a good bowling side, especially the fast bowling department, and they kept constant pressure on the Indian top order batting. Adil Rashid, as we all have noticed, has improved immensely right throughout the series, and he's been England's main wicket taker. So it was one dismissal leading to the other. Pujara, I thought, will be very disappointed with the shot he played. He's someone who doesn't hit the ball much in the air, and then Ajinkya Rahane got a good delivery to start up with. So it's a part and parcel of Test cricket. You know, it'll happen. India have done it to England, and now England have done it to India. But the good thing is, as you said, at the end of the day's play, it's still even Stevens. And if England can get India out at par with their score of 15-20 runs ahead, it's anybody's game from here on.
Yeah, just to speak of little moments that happened, were England helped by the shot selection of India? Was it a bit of tight bowling? Because nothing seemed to change much between session 2 and 3.
I think it was shot selection. I think Pujara, you know, he'd probably hit a couple of sixes in the Test before, saw what he thought was a rank long hop and got it wrong. And I agree with Saurav. He doesn't hit the ball in the air, and I think that's the qualities that he has. You know, he still scores very well. But I think England were gritty. I think they were tough. I think, a little moment of brilliance, that low diving catch, Josh Buttler's one-handed stop. I mean, what a bit of fielding. I mean, that's, that does bring a bit of X factor. And suddenly you've got 2 quick wickets. You know, England were bowling tight at the time, but you need batsmen who are in, and it takes time to build those partnerships.
Yeah, can lift a team, sort of, isn't it? When nothing much is happening, all of a sudden great diving catch in the outfield, and then that run out. We've seen 2 different fielding sides in this Test match.
You know, when Buttler did that, I was about to send a message to Nick using the word Butler in the whole SMS, but I resisted, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant. You know, unbelievable to make that save and then hit the stumps at the other end. Was a terrific effort. You know, these sort of brilliance on the field lift the team, and you could see a different England. And he's a wicket keeper. You know, he's not an outfielder who stands at point. He's a keeper. For a keeper to do that was exceptional, and I think he's a very gifted player. All jokes apart, and I'm sure Nick admits the quality of Ian Butler, or rather Josh Buttler, and hopefully he will serve English cricket for a long period.
Can I just say one thing? You haven't seen him play rugby yet. I'll tell you, you thought my rugby was dodgy. He is a serious rugby player. In fact, he's pretty good at anything he does.
Maybe I'll ask Saurav to respond, yeah?
To Middlesex, Nick, next time when I come to Middlesex, it's very close to where you stay. I live there, So maybe you and me can both go to a rugby game and you and Butler play, and I'll watch it with a lovely cup of English breakfast tea in the afternoon.
Okay, I'm going to blow the whistle now and call the rugby
Half-time,
match. Yeah,
half-time.
half time for the rugby match. You two have only been looking for reasons to justify Josh Butler, but we saw something good. Just sort of the second half of that last session, and Ashwin Jadeja once again to the rescue. Otherwise, this could have been a very different end. We once again put a lot of faith in our Ashwin's batting.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Every time India needs him to score runs, he gets it. We've seen it right throughout the series. We've seen him in the tour of the West Indies, and he's technically so good. You know, we keep hearing that pitch it up and take it away. He hangs back when he comes in. They talk about the spinners. They're trying to get him on the front foot, but he's right there. You know, some of the shots he played. One on drive to Ben Stokes, who's not the slowest in the world, bowling at 140, 145 kilometers an hour, and he just whips it through mid-wicket. It's just terrific. You know, the face of the bat through the offside, the face of the bat through the onside. He's a complete batsman, and he's someone who I think the Indian middle order will look up to. He's someone who the Indian middle order will take a lot of confidence out. That listen, we've got Ravichandran Ashwin at number 7, who just takes us out of jail every time.
Well, it was nice to see Ravindra Jadeja giving this some support. Some question marks on Jadeja's batting, but did get themselves right. Now, one batsman who has struggled a little bit, and we open up our second match point with this. It's Ajinkya Rahane, and I don't know if we've ever spoken of Ajinkya Rahane struggling in Test match cricket. He's quietly done such a job, but with scores of 13-1, 23, 26 and 0 today, the question is his form a concern? Nick, you first. 5 innings, and that's what we've seen of him.
Look, he's only human, and I think any batsman who hasn't scored runs in the series to date, you're into the 3rd Test match, you know, is going to be worrying. There's no doubt he's going to bed at night thinking, you know, I need to get a score here. He's a fantastic player, we've seen that, but he looks like a man who is searching for runs. I think, you know, we've all been there. It's not a great place to be, but it's only you who can change that momentum, and he just needs to spend some time out there, maybe get a gritty 30 or 40 that's not very pretty. I just wonder, is he capable of that? Because he seems like one of those players that when it's his day, he's as good as to watch as anyone. But is he capable of really grinding out a dirty 30?
Yeah, we're just looking at some numbers before I get you in, Saurav, and we're looking at Ajinkya Rahane's last 4 series numbers, and it will just further make the point that we're trying to establish here. 12.6 his average in this series in 5 innings. Before that, against New Zealand, almost 70. Against the West Indies, 120. And when South Africa came in, when it was hard for batsmen, he averaged 53. So just from your observations, has there been something that's changed in Rahane? Is he technically finding it any harder?
No, I don't think so. It's just a phase. It's just a phase where he's just missed out in a couple of innings, and I think that's going to happen. You know, it's just been probably 4 or 5 innings for Ajinkya Rahane. He's been India's top Test player in all conditions. You go to England, you go to South Africa, you go to Australia, you see Ajinkya Rahane fighting to get a Test 100 for you, and he's done that in his short career. So for me, I don't think it's any problem. It's just a phase. I'm sure the team management recognizes it. He recognizes it. He's a bit of an intense person. So what he needs to do is to just put it behind. You know, when you look at him on TV sitting after he's got out, you know, he just comes across someone who looks worried about his dismissal, but he should not. You know, it's a phase, and he will come back scoring runs because he's done that already for India.
I just wonder, Saurav, we keep saying Indian batsmen good at home but struggle away. Ajinkya Rahane so good away and not quite the same at home. Is he an unusual sort of Indian batsman?
No, I don't think so. You know, it's just his early part of his career, and as much as I completely agree with you that his record overseas is enviable, and when he comes at home, maybe he just doesn't kick off. But against South Africa, the last time when they came, he was terrific. Against New Zealand, he was terrific. So it's just, as I said, one of those series where he's just got stuck with a couple of Test matches. He's still got 2 Test matches to go, or rather 5 innings to go after this. He will have to play an important role in the second innings if India have to win this Test match. So from that point of view, there's a lot of cricket left. I've seen the greats, I've played with the greats. You know, think about Tendulkar in Australia in 2003. Everyone was getting runs until he put bat to ball on the 4th test of a 4-test series and got a big double 100. So when Ajinkya Rahane gets in any of the Test matches in this series, England will have to pay because he's that sort of a player.
Okay, well, let's break some more numbers now of Ajinkya Rahane. The story that the stats tell, it's part of our ESPN Cricket Info Insights. Yeah, we're looking at his Test averages against each opposition country-wise, and against England, Nick, there's a bit of a struggle. 25. You look at some of the other averages: 45 against Australia, almost 60 against South Africa, over 60 against New Zealand. But he seems to have a problem with England.
Yeah, I think it's early days, if I'm honest. He's an exceptional young player. He hasn't played that much cricket yet, but he's made a fantastic introduction to his Test career. He's had a few low scores against England. There's plenty of Test tours coming up. There will be plenty more opportunities. I guess it's just one of those things that when you're in the middle of the series, I wonder what is he going to do to get out of it? Is he going to go out there and go, you know what, I'm actually going to be ultra positive, or is he going to try and really grind out a score? And that's quite an interest. I always find that quite fascinating, particularly going into the next innings where it is going to turn. What way is Ajinkya Rahane going to go about his next innings?
Before I quickly go to a break, I wonder what would you do? Would you go out and just be more aggressive, or turn things and just play what you?
Well, you know, I only block it anyway, so that's all I know.
All right, more coming up. Our batsmen not blocking as much in this Test match. It's been a tight test, but we've seen a lot of soft dismissals. I'll ask Saurav and Nick why on the other side of the break. Yeah, thanks for being with us here on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. We're going to move now to our third match day match point, and that's about what's causing all these soft dismissals. It doesn't seem like there's something demonizing that's coming out in this pitch, but we've still seen 16 wickets fall in 2 days. That's not so bad. So let's start with Nick Compton. We saw it for England: Cook, Root, Butler, Stokes. We saw a few for India. Are we seeing batsmen just giving it away, Nick?
Well, it's getting to that stage of the series. Third Test match. For some of those English players, they probably haven't been on a Test tour. You know, you start feeling it a little bit. The pressure is increasing. It's an important game for England, an important game for India. They want to keep the momentum going. So I expect mistakes to happen. This is Test cricket. Mistakes do happen, and I think that's what's opening it up for a great series. But you know, there are a few soft dismissals, and I think that's something that both teams will probably want to have a look at.
You know, these are both teams that play a lot of cricket, Saurav, but would you agree that it's been more about batsmen throwing it away in this test than bowlers actually getting them out?
I think it's a bit of both. I think the bowlers have done a great job as well. And look at the way Mohammad Shami bowled in England's first innings. Look at the way Ben Stokes bowled for England today. You know, they've all run in and bowled their heart out on these non-responsive pitches for the fast bowlers. The spinners have come into play. Adil Rashid, I thought, bowled a terrific delivery to get rid of Ajinkya Rahane. Yes, there's a soft dismissal in terms of Pujara, but I think you got to give credit to the bowlers. England have stuck to a good plan. Their field placements, they've not attacked too much. They've stopped the runs and put pressure on India. So it's a bit of both, actually. Good captaincy from both the captains on this surface, and that's something which has stood out for me in these 2 days, and I'm sure we're going to see that as the test match progresses. So it's been good cricket. It's not just poor shots from the batsmen only. I think good bowling, good captaincy has put pressure on batsmen to play differently, and it has resulted in wickets.
Nick?
That's something that Alistair Cook does very well. He's somebody who always refers to the fact that they're going to get a partnership. It's likely to happen. This is Test cricket. They're good players. But if we hang in there long enough, things can change. And I think that happened exactly today, you know, because there's enough good performance as Stoke in Rashid. And I think that's what's been great about this game so far, is that both teams have enough experience, have enough patience to make things happen. And when they happen quickly.
You know, I worked with Ian Chappell and Jeff Boycott. They don't agree on much, but they say that batsmen always give their wickets away. It's never the bowlers that do any work. Do the two batsmen agree? Maybe I'll ask.
Partly.
Yeah, all right. Let's move to our next talking point now. And this man's had a very contrasting series from the last time he played India. That's Moeen Ali. We've already brought this issue up on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Has he been under-bowled? Why has Alistair Cook lost faith in him? So let's just ask the question. Saurav Ganguly, India's off-spinners did very well. Moeen Ali, on the other hand, has only bowled 9 overs in the day. Gareth Batty, not much either. But why is this, what do you attribute this loss of faith between Cook and Ali?
I just can't understand, to be honest, why it has happened. Maybe his role has changed in England team, I don't know. Nick will be able to put a bit more light on that. He's batting at number 4. Is it that reason that Alistair Cook is looking at him as a batsman who could bowl a bit? But I think that would be a mistake. You know, when they go back to England, he'll go down at number 8 and bowl his off-spinner. So I think he needs to bowl just 9 overs in 80 overs in a test innings in India by one of your frontline spinners. I don't think is enough. So I'm a little surprised with the way he's been handled by Alistair Cook, and probably Nick will be able to throw more light on it, that why has his role suddenly changed in conditions where it assists the spinners.
You know, the only thing I can think of is that Alistair Cook does he does find some confidence in certain people, and why that's changed so quickly, I'm not quite sure. I mean, Adil Rashid has bowled well, he has improved, but I think Alistair Cook's a bit like that, and there's one way of looking at it. Don't look at it too personally. You know, there's every chance that could change again. Maybe just at the moment, when it comes down to it, Alistair Cook feels comfortable with, Jimmy Anderson, Adil Rashid, Ben Stokes. I mean, those seem to be the guys that he's going towards at the moment. And, I don't see a reason for it, really. It's not like Moeen Ali bowled particularly badly and suddenly, he's been put on the sidelines. So it is a tough one. But I think Alistair Cook does, as a captain, and it's probably to come back to Saurav there, did he ever find when he captained teams that, certain people were flavours of the month?
Yeah, well, let's put things in perspective. India is still 271 for 6. You take that as a fielding captain, but the point we're trying to make is, yet Moeen Ali, being one of the premier bowlers, should be bowling a lot more than he is. Let's see if that changes as this test goes on. Now, one thing that's got everybody talking, as DRS usually does, and while you can discuss it to death, we're discussing a very different aspect of the decision review system on whether the change in protocols has actually redefined the way we look at leg before wickets and look at certain dismissals. Two things that I'd like to bring out here. First, that the acceptable zones of impact change, we'll just show you that in a minute. The law has undergone some changes. And the first change, of course, was that when batsmen come down the wicket, the point of impact in 2011 for the World Cup and up to 2015 was 2.5 meters or 250 centimeters. Then you could not be given out. Since 2015, it's been increased to 300 centimeters or 3 meters. We therefore see more batsmen that can be given out even if they've stepped down. That's one part that you need to understand, Law 3.3. The second part that's changed very recently, as recent as September 2016, is the zone, the impact zone when it comes to LBW. The old zone used to be within off stump and leg stump and half of it, and as you can see on our screen, the new zone goes just outside by 1.9 cm on either side of off stump and leg stump. What that's basically allowing for is more leg before wickets to be given out or to be overturned regardless of the on-field decision. Now, let's take why we're talking about all this. That was Parthiv Patel's wicket, and I've gone on a bit, but I'm going to get Nick Compton, who has a very strong view on this. It was Adil Rashid bowling to him, leg spin. Parthiv comes 2 to 3 steps down, and that's what Hawkeye suggested. As per the new zone of impact, that's 3 reds. It might very well have been umpire's call by the old rules, and Erasmus giving it not out on field would have stayed, but that's been overturned. The question that we're asking is, Nick, technology is supposed to make us feel like every decision now is confidently correct, but it doesn't look like that.
No, it doesn't. And some of the DRS decisions, I mean, we saw a couple in Australia which were a little bit dubious. I think the giveaway is the umpires look as confused as the players, deciding whether to shake a decision or not. That decision as a cricketer, just didn't look out. However you want to look at it, I don't know if Saurav agrees with me or not, but when Parthiv came down the wicket and missed it, you don't sit there and go, oh, that's plum. You think, there's benefit of doubt, that's not out. So that's where I sort of come in. What is the role of the umpire? Are we in a place where we just need a nice metal pole with a clothes peg? And are we getting to that point of view? I think we should take DRS away from making LBW decisions and leave that to the umpires. Umpires are improving, they're a part of the game. Leave the DRS for, if the player's edged a ball or if he's nicked one, that's fine, or run-outs. But that's where I come from, I think.
That's a big one, Saurav, and of course it'll open the debate up. As players, should we just accept the new technology, even if at times it still raises questions?
I think DRS is fine with me, but to be honest, it's got to be refined a bit. Now, when you step out, like the way Parthiv Patel got out today, how far are you away from the stumps? It's 4 feet from the propping crease, and he must have got forward another 1.5 feet or a couple of feet. So it's 6 feet away from the ball hitting the stump. So nobody in the world knows whether that ball on turning pitches in India would actually go on to hit the stump. So we got to be a little bit sensible in using DRS, especially the third umpire in giving decisions. But I think more number of times, I think DRS has done a good job in terms of LBW decision. Everything will have a mistake. They had the hotspot, when at times the hotspot created a problem. So, everything has its good thing and the bad thing. But to get an LBW when you step out so much trying to play on a turning pitch, I think that's a bit harsh on the batsman.
Yeah, so I guess there was a time when the predictive path was left to the umpire and technology only showed what actually happened. If we were to go back, and I know that a few people in Cricinfo like that, would that make you happier with your point of view?
Yeah, it would. I mean, I've always played with the umpire being very much a part of the game, and it just seems like now they're sort of giving a decision and it's getting overturned, and it's almost a flip of the coin. And I think it's sad to watch. We've got to make a decision either way. What is the role of the umpire and where is it going? Because for me, there's still grey areas. I think some of the fans don't really understand it fully. So it's creating a lot of confusion.
Just lastly, Saurav, we saw it happen in the first test, Australia-South Africa, when Alim Dar gave a decision out to Steve Smith well down the wicket. Is there a fear that DRS might interfere in the thought process of the umpire while he makes his decision? Very quickly.
Yes, it does. I think sometimes it makes him look stupid. And as an umpire, you go through that. You can't say anything because it's the law, but you have to deal with it. But then when you've accepted the system, you have to go through these situations, and that's the way it is.
Who'd want to be an umpire in this day and age? Nick Compton, Saurav Ganguly, certainly not the two of you, but we will ask you some questions on what could happen on day 3 and play some Cricket IQ with Nick and Saurav on the other side of ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Stay with us. Yeah, welcome back to ESPN Cricket for Match Day. We're going to now play my favorite part of the show with Nick and Saurav. That's ESPN Cricket for Cricket IQ. And we saw Karun Nair on his test debut start beautifully with a boundary and then unfortunately get run out. The question that we're going to ask Saurav and Nick is that who the last Indian batsman was to be run out on test debut. Oh. And Saurav's leading 4-3 on this. He's doing as well as his Atletico de Kolkata in the ISL. Your options, gentlemen: Anil Kumble, Javagal Srinath, Venkatesh Prasad. I'm going to let Saurav go first since it's an India-centric question. Last fair, Indian batsman to be run out on test debut, Mr. Ganguly.
Geez, there are 3 legends when it came to batting and running between the wickets. So that's a great question, and the options are even better. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, but maybe Javagal Srinath. I'm not sure.
Okay, I think it's a shot in the dark from you, Compton, but go for it. Pick a different answer.
I'm going to go with the current manager, Anil Kumble.
Oh, right. I can tell you it is level. 4-4. Anil Kumble is the right answer. It happened in a test match at Old Trafford 1990. We brought that up earlier, the test where everyone got hundreds. But sort of fond memories of Anil running between the wickets?
Yeah, the memories are, Anil diving with his helmet half on his face and looking up and trying to see whether he was out or not out. So I've seen that pictures quite a number of times. I've seen that in Oval when he got a test match 100, trying to dive and save a stumping when he got an inside edge. So I've been used to that. Why I said Javagal Srinath, because every time under pressure, he did not know what he was doing. And if Jav is watching, sorry, I backed you in this, but unfortunately Nick won it.
Okay, it works well for the sake of the show because it's 4-all going into the last few days of this test match. It's now time to look ahead to day 3. What could possibly happen? We're going to get into Captain's Corner right away. Sort of the difference, only 12, 271 India, and Ashwin and Jadeja looking all right. Jayant Yadav, so a bit of batting to come. How do you see things going on the third morning? What would you do if you were Alistair Cook?
We'll try and get them out as quickly as possible. Still 12 runs behind, bowlers fresh. There will be a bit of help for the fast bowlers in the morning. And if you nick a couple or nick early on, then the tail end is coming. So they will be trying to wrap up India as quickly as possible. And India looking for a 100-run lead. It's possible these two guys have really looked well overnight. But if I was Alistair Cook, try and finish off the tail. But most importantly, bat well on day 3 of this test match if he's got to put pressure on India.
Well, Nick, quick one from you.
I think Alistair Cook's got to start off with an in-out field. Make sure that Ashwin, Jadeja, if they do hit good shots, they're only getting 1 for it. And make sure you've got your catches. You've got your catches there, 30 or 40 runs. Remember, England need a lead. They don't need that big a lead because the pressure will be on India on the 5th day. So, it's a very tight test match and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Oh, well, let's look forward to it tomorrow. Thank you, Nick Compton, Saurav Ganguly. We'll get your thoughts same time, 10 p.m. right here on Sony ESPN as well as ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Until then, goodbye.